about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fears? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice?
Hi, I'm Christina. If you did not notice from the intro, this video will be talking about ocean pollution. In the video as a group, we'll be talking what causes ocean pollution, what animals it affects and the effects it can have on humans, how we can fix the ocean pollution, and how we can sustain the oceans we have left. In the video, there will be me and Patricia talking on camera. She'll be talking about how to fix it. Then there will be two people that will be doing just voices and we'll have big pictures. That way you can get more of the visual effects of what we are doing to our oceans. They will be Anthony, who will be talking about the effect it has on animals and humans, and then Gabrielle, who will be talking about how to sustain it. Let's start off with what is pollution. Pollution is the introduction of harmful contaminants that are outside of the norm for a good ecosystem. Common man-made pollutants that reach the ocean include pesticides, herbicides, chemical fertilizers, detergents, oil, sewage, plastic, and other solids. Many of these pollutants are dumped in rivers and travel to the ocean through streams. The solid waste such as bags, phones, and other things are either dumped from land or are shipped. Sadly, these solid waste end up choking marine life, which causes them to die. Another type of pollution that affects the ocean that many people do not think about is actually noise pollution. Different types of sounds can throw off animals such as humpback whales, which in turn causes them to beach themselves on shore as they become confused. Now, you're probably thinking oil spills is the number one thing that causes ocean pollution, but it's actually only 12%. The number one thing that causes ocean pollution is runoff from farms that use chemical fertilizers, people pouring things down the drains that they should not, sewage that is overflowing and runs into the ocean. Now, some of the top things that are found in the ocean are cigarettes, food wrappers, beverage bottles being made out of plastic, bags being made out of plastic, cups and lids, cups, plates, forks, knives, and spoons, straws and stirrers, beverage bottles made from glass, beverage cans, and bags made from paper. Now, these things take many years to break down. Some of them, we don't even know how long it takes to break down, such as glass. Now, the next person we'll be talking will be Anthony, and he'll be talking about what affects animals and what affects humans from pollution. I hope you enjoy.
Every year, tens of thousands of marine animals and seabirds die from eating or getting tangled in marine debris, our waste in the ocean. But your local actions can contribute to a clean, healthy ocean. From everyday litter like plastic bags, food wrappers, and drink bottles, to car batteries, kitchen appliances, enormous fishing nets, and industrial waste, the trash accumulating in the ocean is turning our beautiful reefs, lagoons, and seagrass, meadows into rubbish dumps. None of our waste belongs in the ocean, yet it continues to make its way to the most remote ocean places and can remain there for generations. Much of our waste products do not biodegrade, and many plastics, for example, break down into smaller fragments, posing danger to marine life and human health. Did you know? Nearly 1 out of 5 shark species is classified by the International Union for Conservation of Nature as threatened with extinction. That doesn't even include hundreds of species, almost half of all sharks, whose population status cannot be assessed because of lack of information. Scientists warn that, in actuality, a third of sharks might already be threatened. So you may wonder, why do we worry about shark populations? Well, a healthy and abundant ocean depends on predators like sharks keeping ecosystem balanced. And living sharks fuel local economies such as places as Paulo, where sharks bring in an estimated $18 million a year. Litter in the world's oceans comes from many sources, including containers that fall off ships during storms, trash that washes off city streets into rivers that lead into the sea, and waste from landfills that blows into the streams or directly into the ocean. Once in the ocean, this debris may degrade slowly and persist for years, traveling the currents, accumulating in large patches and washing up in beaches. Clean fresh water is an essential ingredient for a healthy human life. But 1.1 billion people lack access to water, and 2.4 billion don't have adequate sanitation. Water becomes polluted from toxic substances dumped or washed into the streams and waterways, and the discharge of sewage and industrial waste. These pollutants come in many forms: organic, inorganic, and even radioactive, and can make life difficult, if not impossible, for humans, animals, and other organisms alike. When toxic chemicals and metals enter the environment, organisms may absorb them through their skin or ingest them through their food or water. Animals higher in the food chain accumulate these toxins in higher and higher concentrations, a process called biomagnification. Top predators, including fish, birds, and mammals, can have much higher levels of these toxins in their bodies, making them more likely to experience these diseases, birth defects, genetic mutations, and other effects of these poisons.
So how do we fix pollution in the ocean? Well, the first thing that you have to do is you have to learn. Learn what's going on in the ocean so that we can fix it. Also, you can learn about the little things that impact the ocean, like the pesticides and the chemicals that are in there and being ingested by fish. If you knew the different type of pesticides and chemicals that are being used and which ones are dangerous for the ocean, we can go and get the healthy ones to use in our households. Another thing that we can do is conserve water, just by fixing a leaking sink or using a whole load in the dishwasher or a washing machine. Little things like that can help conserve the water that we do have so that it's not being sent out and being polluted. Another thing is to recycle. Not only just the cans, papers, aluminum, but little things like oil when you cook. If you preserve that by shredding it and using it again, that saves from being put in the ocean. Another thing that you can do is, if you're not going to reuse it, make sure it's in a container that has a lid and it's really, really tight, and then throw in the trash can once it cools. That way it doesn't mix with rain and be washed into the ocean. Another thing that you can do if you don't even feel like doing that is just take it to a recycling center. There are different recycling centers around the city that actually do take oil. Another thing that you can do is reduce runoff. By reducing runoff, which is just putting a lid on the trash can so the trash doesn't go everywhere. Or if you see a bottle or a piece of trash on the side of the sidewalk, instead of just leaving it there or contributing by throwing something with it, you can pick it up and place it in the trash can. Little things like this, it may not seem like it's doing much, but it can actually do a lot if everybody would just stop and do it. One person can make a difference. Some of these are examples of little ways that you can help save the ocean.
The threats faced by our ocean planet may seem overwhelming. In the face of pollution, climate change, overfishing, and other daunting problems, what you can do on your own may seem like a drop in a bucket. If we begin working together now, we can make a huge difference. Here are some ways to get started. Do not dispose of paint, solvents, cleaners, pesticides, or other chemicals down the drain. Know what is hazardous waste and found out about local collections and recycle programs in your area. Dispose of used motor oil properly. Find out if your city or town has a recycling program or ask if local auto shops can help. Never dump chemicals onto soil or roads or down storm drains. If you purchase items with 6-pack holders. Cut the tops into small pieces prior to disposal. Recycle as much as you can. The more, the better. So it goes nowhere else than into a virtuous cycle of human reuse our own junk. If your house is served by a septic system, make sure it's inspected, pumped out every 3 years. Install water-saving toilets. These save you money and have on how much water is used and needs to be treated. Choose to go to restaurants that support and sell sustainable caught seafood. Point out to those that don't sell sustainable catch their own. You're not going to patronize them until they do, and you will also ask your family and friends to steer clear until restaurants change their policies. Look for fruits and vegetables that are grown without pesticides and don't spray them on your own. Pesticides can contain toxins that can run off into seas and harm marine life. Do not litter. This simple decision can make a huge difference. Every piece of litter near the seaside has the potential to end up in the ocean, whether it makes its way by wind, tides, or by animal carriers. Put all your trash in its designated trash bins or take it home for proper disposal. Empower people. We lead a movement of people taking concrete actions every day to protect our ocean. We're bringing useful tips to people on every street corner, creek beds, and coastal waterways to empower them to stop the flow of trash before it hits our shores.
I don't know when it's all said and done. How could I be losing you forever after all the time we spent?